Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
That's right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm your host, Brian, joined with other host,
Karen.
And for today, we are going to be talking about While She Sleeps.
While She Sleeps at Bottom Lounge.
At Bottom Lounge with Barry Tomorrow and Vended.
Yes.
This was on Thursday, April 10th here in Chicago at Bottom Lounge, like you said. Ticket prices for this were $26.50 and then $7.43 in fees. Not too bad for a fee rate, 28% or so. But yeah, Bottom Lounge again. We honestly got these tickets because it was Vended. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah.
Had you heard of While She Sleeps or Barry Tomorrow?
Barry Tomorrow I had, but not While She Sleeps.
We got like a Knotfest promo of like they're touring the U.S. Buy tickets, and a few other people, maybe like Metal Injection or whatnot. But then I saw Vended was on there. I was like, oh, we like Vended a lot. We've seen them almost every time they come to Chicago, at least in the last couple of years we have, or we try to at least.
Yeah, we have been.
Let's go check out this show again. And then 2 new bands for me as well, so let's go check this out. I didn't put a tour name down. It's probably just North America tour.
I think it is just North America tour.
If there was a tour name at all anyway. Yeah. And like we said, it was at Bottom Lounge. We've been there a handful of times already. I really like Bottom Lounge a lot. I like it too, yeah. It's a really cool venue. I've gone there before, even for concerts, and I think I mentioned this as well for like beer events and just going to hang out at the bar. I don't know. I think it's a really cool spot, and whenever they have shows there, I really enjoy going to shows there. And typically we don't talk about, or we try not to talk about the venue if we've been there before, since we've talked about this 100 other times already. Yeah. And we even started doing like 666s on those. 2
666s on venues.
So someday we'll do another one on this.
Yeah.
But I want to bring this one up again because it was a little bit different setup this time around, if you remember.
Yeah.
And so if you go to Bottom Lounge, you go to that back room where the venue hall and music hall is. And on the stage, next to stage right and stage left, there's basically 2 pillars on either side that they're just pillars, like load-bearing pillars and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you can usually stand over there behind them or on the other side of them and whatnot. But this time on stage right, they had a black curtain.
They did,
drawn.
yeah, to like make the floor smaller.
Yeah, which was, you pointed that out and it's like, oh shit, that's weird. And they also had it roped off at the top of it as well, but no curtain there. And you can see all the gear that the bands had as well. Not a whole lot at the beginning of the night, but as the night went on, bands kept filling up their gear back there. So I was like, oh, I've never seen this venue like this. This is the first time I've ever been there. And I've only been to like 3 or 4 other shows that you haven't been to there.
Right, yeah.
But I was like, that's fucking weird. I've never seen this. And I think you even brought up the point like, oh, they must not have sold that many tickets.
That was the first thought that I had was, to make it not seem smaller, but like just have it more condensed to kind of, block off that space so that people stand more near the stage instead of off to the side.
Which makes perfect sense when you think about it. Like, if you can't fill the space, you got to like, get a smaller space that makes it feel more full for the band and for the crowd as well. And we've been to like, say, the Rave up in Milwaukee where they have 4 venues.
4 venues.
Get down, bud. And we've been to sorry, cat jumped up here again. But we've been to the Rave up in Milwaukee and they have 4 venues there. And we've been to
4 stages.
4 stages. I use venues and whatnot interchangeably in that context. But 4 stages, and we've been to a show before. I can't remember what show exactly it was, but it was supposed to be up in the ballroom, and I don't think they sold enough tickets, so then they moved it down. Maybe it was Elstorm. I was about to say Elstorm.
Yeah, and we did do a tour last year at Milwaukee Metal Fest with the venue, and they do say, her name was Gabby, I think, right?
Yeah, Gabby.
She mentioned that they don't always put what room the show's going to be in for that reason. That way, if they don't sell enough to fill the ballroom, they can move it to what we call the second stage. Or
if they sell more than they thought.
Sell more, then they can move it up to the ballroom. Obviously, some nights they have 2 concerts going at once, so then obviously that doesn't work out where you can't, move it up and down.
Right.
But for like Elstorm, like we thought it was going to be in the ballroom, and that was on the second stage. I think it could have been in the ballroom.
It was a pretty packed crowd that night. I remember that.
I think it was probably one of those in-between ones where it's like it was too oversold for that second stage, but not sold enough for the ballroom.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't sold enough for the ballroom.
Yeah,
because that ballroom is actually pretty fucking large. It is
really large, yeah.
We were there last year for Milwaukee Metal Fest, and by the end of even Slaughter, like it felt empty.
It was so empty
because people had left.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the weekend with like Blind Guardian, it was fucking packed.
Yeah. And even for the year before for like Lamb of God, it was packed for for the ballroom. So, but yeah, I mean,
which is really cool when a venue can do that. Like they can
to move it around. Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess Bottom Lounge can kind of do that with the curtains and stuff to kind of make it seem like a smaller space. We have had also, because I believe Concord is sold or owned by the same people, or like they're under the same.
Yeah, management and whatnot.
So sometimes it's announced for Concord and it moves to Bottom Lounge or vice versa, depending on what their schedules are.
Which was funny because for this show, we kept telling ourselves it was at Concord.
Yeah.
And I even put on our spreadsheet it was at Concord.
I thought it was announced for Concord.
So I went back and I looked at the original announcements and it wasn't. So for some reason I fucked up and I was like, this is at Concord. This is at Concord. This is at Concord. And then you looked it up like the day of or something, the day before. You're like, oh, it's actually at Bottom Lounge.
Yeah.
And I went back and looked and like, oh shit, for sure it's at Bottom Lounge. Even the receipt we had when we bought the ticket said
for Bottom
Lounge.
Okay. I always thought it was like maybe sold for Concord and then they weren't selling enough, so then they moved it to Bottom Lounge, because Bottom Lounge is a little bit smaller than Concord.
But when we showed up to this night, like, I agree there weren't too many people there, but we've been there plenty of times super early.
Yeah.
We were there maybe like 10 minutes after doors or something. And like we've been there that early before and it's really not that packed. But as the night goes on, especially after that first band, it starts to get really, really full. And maybe people just didn't want to see Vended potentially. Like they were just here a few months ago at Beat Kitchen.
Yeah.
I don't think they sold out Beat Kitchen. I don't think they sold that show because we bought those.
No, we bought those that day. Yeah. And it was not packed in there, and that's a small venue. So.
Right. So I guess let's get into Vended unless we want to talk more about the venue.
No, it's fine. I think what you were going for is when we got there, there was no line though. It was like not full at all, but like we've been to shows like that where there's no line and it's not full, but it gets full by the end of the night.
Yeah.
This concert, I mean, it filled up a little bit, but it wasn't packed by any means. So we had plenty of room to move around. You could move to the merch, you can move, just move around freely all you want to. And
just like that curtain, like I said, I've never seen that in that venue before, and I've been there for maybe more than 4 or 5 shows, but I've been there for more shows than you have for sure.
Yeah.
And just like out of all the maybe 20 to 30 shows we've seen there now, maybe that's about right.
15-ish.
15-ish.
Maybe.
I've never seen it that way once. That was a new sort of like, oh, okay. I never thought about doing that at this venue, but it makes sense.
Even like Citizen Soldier wasn't sold very much, and they didn't put that up. I remember having so much room at Citizen Soldier because it's not a show where you're like moshing and stuff like that.
I guess I don't remember. I felt like that was pretty full, but maybe not.
I didn't feel like it was.
Anywho.
Anyways, so talking about Vended, their set list, they started with Nihilism, Dead to Me, Am I the Only One, The Far Side, Pitiful, and they ended with Asylum. Now, for a Vended show, it was a Vended show.
Yeah.
We've seen them quite a bit now.
I was just going to say the same thing. It was a Vended show. You go and you know what you're getting when you go in.
Yeah. And I almost, at the end of it, I was almost in the mindset of like, I'm ready for them to do something a little different. Because we've seen almost the same show for like, 2 years now, 3 years?
About 3 years now, I want to say. The first show was probably that Bloodywood show that they opened?
Which was 2023. So just 2 years.
Was it 2023?
Yeah, May 2023.
Was that it? I thought it was 2020.
No, May 2023 was, well, technically they were at Knotfest, Iowa,
we didn't 2021, see that,
but we were in line trying to get in.
Right.
So the first time we probably saw them was May 2023 with Bloodywood. You're right. Or you were right with the Bloodywood show. But it's almost the same thing. I don't even know. What's that song that they start with? Do you know?
Tainted Love. That's their intro track. Where it's like sort of cutting in and out because they're going through the radio almost.
Yeah. So it starts out like clear, like, you know, like the
song, how the song goes.
And then it does like it fades out into
you hear like the crackle as you're like changing,
like you're changing an old radio or something, or not old. Gosh, it only 15 minutes ago
just
or 15
a
years ago. Yeah.
I mean, yes, radios are still around. They still act that way.
Well, what I'm saying is like now it's like a button. You just push like the button,
the dial on the old car. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to go for.
Gotcha.
And then they come out and play or whatever.
Did you feel like that intro was a slightly different? I don't feel like it did as much tuning like in between songs. I felt like it was, I thought I remembered there being a lot more sort of Tainted Love, tuning into a song and then tuning to another song and then into another.
I guess I didn't notice.
This one, it felt like it stayed on Tainted Love a lot and then a little bit of tuning and then just straight into the music.
Oh, I guess I didn't notice.
But it's been a while since we've seen them. I mean, it was that Beat Kitchen show in September of last year, 2024. So I don't know, it just felt somewhat different to me, but whatever.
Okay. I didn't notice that, but I mean, maybe they cut it a little short or something.
Yeah.
The other thing that I recognized was before Tainted Love even ended, or before it even started, I think.
I think Simon came out and sat behind the kit. And
to get behind the kit, like he had to like squeeze in. I mean, he's a small guy, so thank goodness. But he had to squeeze in because the stage was just so tight. And we've talked about that before with bands where like everything's just set up at once, and then by the time the headliner goes on, everything's cleared and they have plenty of room. But with 5 people on the stage, even when Vended's playing, it was a pretty tight stage for them to not have very much room.
Yeah, especially like the kits up there, because everybody has their own kit up there, so those take up a lot of fucking space. Sometimes, they have one room for one kit and they take it all down except for the headliner or whatnot. But I thought the same thing was like it was very crowded in there, and there's one moment where Jeremiah, the bassist, is trying to walk over to stage left, but then Griffin like steps back.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
and he had to like do a quick stop and turn around. Like, nope, I guess I'm not going over there.
You do have to be pretty quick. I mean, they had no room to move around.
And I thought that was funny. It made me smile and laugh a little bit. And I was like, I guess you're not coming over here to play at all. Yeah. But later in the night, they
worked it out. Yeah,
they got it working pretty well, where they would be able to switch sides and whatnot.
Yeah. And Vended is a band. I mean, even for a young band, they put on a lot of energy for their shows. So I mean, their stage presence is kind of what drew us to them to begin with. So
the sound and the stage presence, it's that old school nu metal sound.
Sounds like Slipknot.
It does sound like Slipknot, which again is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, no. And I say that every time we see them, that it sounds just like Slipknot, but I say it in a good way of like it sounds very good.
And even Griffin's mannerisms are just like Corey's mannerisms, his dad. Because I mean, come on, like Corey's one of the greatest front people of all time, right? So of course, if you're gonna mimic somebody, it's either going to be him. In my mind, it would be him, Till, or James. Like that was who I would like. Yeah. If I'm going for a front person sort of persona and vibe, and even Randy, I guess, Lamb of God, like those are the people I would like try to mimic and find out what they do on stage and mimic that. And he does Corey just as good as Corey does Corey.
Yeah. I was actually talking to somebody at work just today about Vended, and like they have no clue who I'm talking about, but we were kind of talking about parents and children like getting into music and stuff like that. And because I guess there's somebody from the Beatles, like their niece or somebody won American Idol. I don't know what they were talking about, but I was saying like, oh yeah, some people think that it's just because of who their family is or whatever, but I don't necessarily think that. I mean, it's kind of what you grow up seeing.
I mean, I don't know. Yes, it is what you grow up seeing. It's what you're around and what you experience and whatnot. And it's like, oh, I want to be like my parents or something, and I want to pursue that career and whatnot. The entertainment industry as a whole, not just music, but like movies. There's more than those two types of entertainment, but the entertainment industry.
You're just saying like actors and
like the entertainment industry as a whole is super fucking heavy nepotism bullshit.
Oh no, I agree with that. And I brought up that like the first time we were supposed to see Vended was at a Knotfest, Iowa, where Slipknot's signing them to the bill. They were able to go to Australia with Knotfest. So I mean, like stuff like that, like has happened.
Look at the M72 tour right now. Suicidal Tendencies is on there. Yeah. Robert's son. Yeah. Which again, it didn't start with him. It was Robert's band originally. Right. Or he was in it. One of the original. I think he was one of the original members. I don't know. He was in it though for a while. Yeah, he was. Yeah. And now his son's in it. So like, all right, we're gonna bring you along. His son was in another band as well, Odo, and then James's son's in Bastard Dane. Yes. Yeah. And they do the City Takeover Shores. Yeah. So like for sure, having your parent, be who they are, and we said this in the first episode we did with Vended. It opens the door for you. It makes you get your foot in the door that much easier. Yeah. How long you stay around and how successful you are, though, I truly do believe that is based on your talent and your ability to
I agree.
Sell a crowd and put on a good performance. And Vended sure as fuck can put on a good performance.
They can, yeah. And I think a lot of people haven't seen them enough that they can continue doing the performance that they do today. But for those of us like us who have seen them multiple times, it's kind of getting old.
So there were a few people there who clearly were there for Vended. They were super fucking into it. That was awesome. So there were basically those two types of people. There were the people like us who were there and like super fucking into it. Like, yes, fucking Vended, let's go. And again, we were here at this show because of Vended.
Yeah, that's why we bought the tickets,
And then there were the people that we went out into Bottom Lounge into the bar area, got a drink, and sort of relaxed in between set changes and whatnot.
Which is why I like Bottom Lounge.
Yeah.
Is you can go out to the bar area.
And you can go out and smoke, I assume, as well, go
I'm
outside.
Sure. Yeah.
But there were people I overheard talking like, oh yeah, Vended, 2 of the members, I don't know which 2, their parents are in Slipknot or something like that.
Yeah.
So like you had the people who knew who they were and the people who were like, I'm here to check it out and see what it's all about.
Yeah.
And then like, oh really? They're in Slipknot, or their parents are? So that was kind of cool. But as you said early on, like, we've seen this a lot. I'm kind of ready for something new.
Yeah.
They just came out with their first album last year, but they've been around for fucking ever.
Yeah, before COVID, they started.
Yeah, but just doing EPs and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I too want more music.
Yeah.
I just don't know how fast we're going to get it.
No,
it might be
and I'm not,
a multi-year sort of thing.
I'm not necessarily saying like new music. It would be awesome to hear new music and stuff. What I'm saying is just change it up a little bit.
Sure.
Like the interaction is exactly, I mean, I guess you could say Lamb of God's exactly the same too. And 3 Days Grace is exactly the same. We've talked about them a lot already this year. But it's like, after this song, I do this. After this song, I do this.
But that,
after
to
this
me,
song, I do this.
Yeah, and to me, that's where the new music comes in, because that's when you start to introduce the new dialogue you have with the crowd, the new banter, the new stage personas that you do.
Yeah.
Like, I went to get a t-shirt at merch because I've gotten a t-shirt at almost every Vended show we've gone to, or at least for every tour we've gone to.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all the exact same, the blue shirt with them sort of standing on it. So I'm also ready for them to do like the purple album, which is the same shirt, but purple this time.
They had a purple shirt at Knotfest, Iowa.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Yeah. Maybe I stuck with the blue one when I saw them and whatever. I can't remember. But the point is, like, you know, that's when the new album comes out. That's when you sort of change things up, your color scheme, your sound a little bit, maybe not. The other thing I do want to say about merch real quick, I went and got the shirt, like I said, and just like they did at at Beat Kitchen, the guy working the merch table is like, if you leave a tip, I'll give you a sticker, is what he said there. And I was like, no, it's fine. I already got a sticker. Pro tip, I guess, if they're going to give you away a free fucking sticker for giving a tip, give a tip regardless. Like, fucking tip the merch people, unless they're Live Nation employees. Maybe don't tip them. I don't know about
We're
that
torn.
Yeah.
We go back and forth.
But if they're not, and you can definitely tell they're not, tip them. Tip the band, tip the merch table, tip your servers, you know, fucking tip. But if you do tip and they offer you something free, fucking take it. So this time I was like, I want a sticker, because last time we had stickers, so that's why I didn't want it. Now we've bought like a cooler to go camping in. We've bought like ammo tents to store our gear for this in. I can slap stickers all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
So if I had an extra sticker, I could have easily slapped that on there. So I was like, I'm going to take the sticker this time. And this time he's like, all right, you can have, if you tip, you get a pin. And I was like, oh, all right, whatever. I wanted a sticker, but I'll take a pin. I assumed it was going to be one of those cheap ass little button type pins, the circle ones, which is cool. It is what it is. Yeah. Like, it's free. I don't care, whatever. No, it's like a solid fucking pin. Like, this thing is like
with the back on it.
Yeah, this thing's like a $10 pin. I think I bought Apocalyptica pin. It was like 10 fucking bucks. Yeah. So fucking free pin. Like, not bad, really.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing. I mean, granted, you should tip no matter what, like you were saying, but when they give away something free, I think it kind of encourages it a little bit. So it's cool that they give you a pin, though. But anyways, I can't wait to see Vended again.
Yeah, I do want to see him again. It's going to be the same show, unless, again, I think they come out with new music. To me, that's sort of the changeover, like I said. But I agree. I'm ready to see him again. They're a great fucking show.
Yeah, I want to see him also.
And this set was super quick.
It was super quick.
They were the first opener.
Yeah. I mean, most of their sets are kind of quick. I mean, we did see the headlining set, but I mean, that was still only like an hour maybe. Yeah. Like it was pretty quick. I mean, they don't have a catalog to kind of fill that. But I also want to see it with a crowd that maybe knows the music more. Yeah. Because I feel like most of the crowds that we've seen are kind of lull. And what I mean is just like not pits or, you know, like it's just kind of. Yeah,
I'm trying to think. The
Beat Kitchen had more energy.
Beat Kitchen definitely did. I think the other bands stuck around as there as well and put on a good vibe, a good feel for them. A festival show for sure. There's some good energy there. And I feel like that first Bloodywood show was some good energy as well.
Oh, really?
I kind of remember that being a really good show. Not necessarily the Sage show.
No.
But the Metro show was very good. I felt all night long. I thought the energy in that crowd was super good.
I guess I don't remember that.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Anywho, that was Vended. The main reason we were there, so everything on top of this is just sort of like, you know, the cherry on the top of the cake and whatnot.
Yeah. I honestly thought that night, how we were kind of feeling that night and like how things were going, I was like, we'll probably just go to Vended. We might stay like for Buried tomorrow and then maybe a little bit of While She Sleeps.
Yeah, I think I was like super fucking tired or something.
I can't remember.
I haven't been sleeping well the last few weeks.
Yeah, I don't remember what the whole situation was, but I just remember being like,
yeah,
we'll not probably stay, but.
And you even told me a lot, like, we don't have to stay for all this. Both of these bands are metalcore, so you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, whatever. I'll try to push through and stay through it. I'm super tired, but whatever. I don't care. Let's get through this and whatnot. But then we get to Buried tomorrow. What do we have for a set list for them?
They start with Abandon Us, Earthbound, Death, Ever Colder, Let Go, Villain Arc, What If I Burn, Bolt Cutter, Black Flame, Cannibal, Majesty, Life, Paradise Denied, and they ended with Choke. Going into it, or walking from the train to the venue, I was like, I think I know some Buried tomorrow.
Okay.
I just can't name a song.
Did you know any of them? Like when they played the song, did it click and like, all right, that's the song I know from them? Okay.
Choke.
Choke is the last song?
And it was so funny because we didn't really stand by each other because I could see perfectly where I was. So I didn't want to like move around. And you kind of moved more to the center.
So yeah, you were off all the way to stage left. And my vantage point was the speaker stack was right there blocking half the stage.
Oh, okay.
So the dude on the second drum, like the second tom drum, I think it is, and then the synth and keyboard and whatnot, I couldn't really see his position. So I was like, I'm going to move over so I can get a more, not a closer view, but a more, unobstructed view.
Yeah.
So that's why I moved over there, and I thought you would come over as well, and you didn't.
I did it for just a second, but then there was like some tall people, and I'm like, I can see just fine, so I'm going to stand right here.
All right. Maybe because you're shorter and you can see under that stack and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
that was fine.
Whatever. But I moved over for that, and then also their intro track was really cool as well. It was, I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was like this computerized voice being virus detected. It kept saying that over and over.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And I instantly got excited because there's an EDM artist I really like, 1788L, who has an intro track that says anomaly detected, and then it goes into his stuff, and I fucking love his shit. So when that happened, I was like, oh, are we gonna have some like
EDM.
a little EDM shit go on here as well? Like you have the keyboard there. It's, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Let's check this out.
Yeah.
So I got super excited right away because of that.
Yeah.
And then they came out and it was not EDM at all. I wouldn't even classify it as metalcore. I know you would and other people would. I'm really bad at this fucking genres and whatnot.
No, it definitely is.
But it's not the metalcore that I think of when I think of metalcore.
Yeah, it's definitely got the clean and dirty vocals. The guy that you were talking about that you couldn't see, that's on like the synth and the tom drum, and he does the clean vocals as well.
So we're going to work on this a little bit. We're going to try to talk about the actual members and their names.
And not just be like this guy, this guy, this
guy.
guy.
Like we need to get better at knowing people and who they are and whatnot.
Yeah.
So the individual on the drum and keyboards, Tom is his name, playing the tom drum. I don't know if it's there tom drum or snare. I think it was a tom drum.
Yeah. So, but so he does the clean vocals, and then Daniel does the unclean vocals, or the dirty, or like whatever you want to say, like the more growls. So that's where I gravitate towards that's metalcore with some drops and stuff like that happening when there's the dirty and clean vocals. Now I know with Whitechapel, I consider them deathcore, even though they do have clean and dirty vocals that Phil does.
From time to time, not as much.
Depending on what album you're listening to.
More and more it's becoming the harsh, dirty shit, which is fine. I like it. It's just very repetitive to me a little bit. I like sort of, Hickory Creek and I Will Find You. I like those vibes where you can transition in between. And Ginger as well, they do that very, very well with one single vocalist of going, between that melodic, soft, clean, and then straight kick to the face with the harsh. I fucking love that sort of, yin and yang duality type thing going on there. I don't know. I fucking love that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was hooked right away. The sound was fucking awesome. The crowd was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, the crowd really got into it. I even have a video of you having some fun. You guys did like What did you guys do? Oh, no, they do like a part that's like, okay, reach out and, meet your neighbor, greet your neighbor. Now put your arm around the neighbor.
Yeah,
and then jump.
So many other bands have done this, like talk to the person next to you, meet somebody new. And this might have been, there were two main speaking parts, I think. And this was during that sort of like, we're a community, like who cares who you come from, where you come from, what your beliefs are, you're here tonight, you're having fun, like we're your people type thing. There's mental health stuff wrapped in there. I can't remember exactly what was all said, but then it was sort of like that. Find somebody to your neighbor, introduce yourself, say hi, become friends. Like you guys are not different. Even if you are different, you're not that different, right? That was sort of the message and what was going on there. And a bunch of bands do this, and it's really the same fucking core concept that everybody's saying. And usually it's just you and me next to each other and shaking each other's hands.
Oh no, I reach out to other people
from time to time. I will, but mostly I don't. Mostly it's just me and you doing that, and even the people around us will just reach out to the person they're with and do the same thing. This time, the guy actually next to me reached out. We shook hands and whatnot.
Oh yeah, because you wouldn't reach out to somebody.
I would not. No, I'm a huge introvert. I do not seek out people or talk to random people. I don't talk to strangers. I was told not to. That's dangerous. I don't do that. No. But if somebody comes up to me and starts talking to me or wants to shake a hand, I'm like super fucking open and we'll chat for like 3 fucking hours around nothing.
But somebody has to talk to you first.
Exactly. Even when I'm at a bar or something, I just sit there in silence for hours, just staring forward, and people will walk up and finally talk to me. And then it's like, oh shit, I was going to go home, but I guess I'm going to get blackout drunk tonight hanging out with you. Anywho. And then they did like now put your hand around the person, and then the other person does the hand around them and whatnot. And I was just standing there, and the guy I shook hands with threw his hand around me. And then that's when I threw my hand around him. And they're like, all right, now when I say jump, fucking jump. And it really made me feel like a football game, like an English Premier League football game. I've seen videos of people like do that, and the whole crowd jumps. So we did that, and it was a fucking blast. I had so much fucking fun doing all of that.
I was glad to see you having so much fun during them, because I honestly, like we said, like at the beginning of the night, where I knew they were metalcore, and I was just like, oh, Brian's going to hate it. He's going to be just pissy all night, and it's going to suck. But nope, you had a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun. I did go in thinking like this is going to suck. I really did go in with that mindset. But once they started playing, I was like, oh shit, this is fun. I like this. This is good. This isn't like the metalcore emo shit that like some of the shit you listen to or whatnot.
It's a little bit like that.
I did not get that
but
during the show, but I did get a re-listening to it.
It's good that you saw them live first, because we've talked about that so much, where like if you see them live first versus listening to them first, which we go back and forth on because we don't always like that, but it's good to see the live performance and how, like, their energy and everything like that before.
And I honestly don't know where I was going with that. But no, I agree. Like seeing them and getting that energy live firsthand is great. And I don't know, I go back and forth as you said, like if I had listened to the music ahead of time, I might not have been as keen to like come on board right away. Yeah. Seeing them live, seeing the energy, I'm more on board now to like, oh fuck, let's do this. Let's have some fun. The other thing I wanted to bring up real quick is the other speaking part, which was before this, which was Daniel basically saying, hey, this crowd is not fucking sold out.
No,
This is a very empty room tonight, but you know what? We don't give two fucks. We're going to give you the same show. You give us the energy, we'll give you the energy. And even if you don't, fuck it. We're up here having fun. So we're going to give it all something like that. Which I fucking loved. And, you know, talking about going back to Vended real quick, it was not a sold out show by any means. It was very sparse for them as well. They tried to get a pit going a couple times and nobody fucking moved, but they kept trying.
Like 3 guys
toward the end, but like early on, nobody was moving and whatnot. And it was like, you know what? They still put on a show. They didn't just get all pissy and leave. And Barry Tomorrow, same thing. They didn't get all pissy and leave. They went out there, they gave it their all, and they're like, you know what? Fuck it. We're here to have fun. We're gonna have fun. Like, it doesn't matter if there's 5 people, 5,000 people. We're all gonna have some fucking fun tonight. And here we are. Let's go. And I love bands that are like that and don't just get all like butthurt when like there's only 12 people in this room type thing.
Yeah, like I'm gonna
which there were a lot more than 12.
Just be pissy and leave the stage 31 minutes into my set because that's what I get paid to do.
Yeah. So
listen to our Rockfest episode if you want to know more about that.
Whatever.
But no, I was going to bring that up too, because I think we've talked about that a lot. Like Lamb of God's one that we always talk about like that, where it's like
you get the same show, but it's
put on the same show no matter if it's a festival like with thousands and thousands of people or if it's a small venue with 1,000 people, which this was definitely maybe more around like the 200-ish people.
Yeah.
300-ish people maybe.
Less than 500, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I agreed with them. Like, you know, it doesn't matter how many people are there. We were all having fun. The crowd was really into it, and they played their hearts out, and I think the crowd gave what they could as well. Yeah,
for sure. And I don't know, it was awesome. Like knowing bands that do that and seeing bands that act that way and are that way. You know, like I'm gonna go out there and give it my all, regardless of how many people are here. I'm instantly like on board and like, all right,
we're a fan now.
I'm a fan now for life. If you come back, I'll do everything I can to see you.
I do want to see them again. Like we bought the tickets because of Vended and not because of Buried Tomorrow or While She Sleeps, but I'm a fan now. Like, I mean, the whole night I was waiting and waiting and waiting to hear a song of like, I know some of their music. Like, and I love that moment where it's like, I don't know the band, but then I hear a song and it's like, oh shit, I know this song. And sure enough, it was Choke at the end that I was like, oh, I know this song. Like, it's the one that comes up. And now I look at my playlist, it's on like almost every single playlist that I listen to. So.
Yeah, again, and like I said earlier, the recorded stuff, it's fine. It's great.
It's a little bit different.
It doesn't hit me the same as it did seeing it live. So to me, this is definitely a band I want to see live again.
Yeah.
And can't wait till I get to do that. So I'm excited for that.
And I don't think we mentioned they're from like England somewhere. New Hampshire? England?
I don't want to say exactly. They're definitely from England. The next two bands, While She Sleeps and Buried Tomorrow, are definitely from England. They both called it out.
Southampton, Hampshire, England.
Yeah. Okay.
I was close. I was really close.
I don't know England that well. So.
I don't either. I just hear regions or something.
Moving along then, I guess.
So Brian's going to keep talking, so I can just cut him out.
Yeah, so whatever I said there, I don't know. Karen probably cut a bunch of me out because I ramble too fucking much. But I guess we're moving on to While She Sleeps. So go ahead, Karen, read off their set list since you edit this.
They started with Rainbows, Leave Me Alone, Antisocial, You Are All You Need, The Guilty Party, You Are We, Self-Hell, Systematic, Four Walls, Hurricane, Enlightenment, Silence Speaks, To the Flowers, and they had an encore of Sleeps Society. I do not know any While She Sleeps.
So, all right, when we started this set, we were basically where we were for Buried Tomorrow. We moved up. Yeah. I was basically standing in the exact same spot I was. You maybe were over a little bit more. Maybe you came. I can't remember exactly.
No, I was standing by you. Yeah, I was standing by you.
It's been a couple weeks now since we've seen this, but in any case, the show starts. They go on stage. They start playing, and instantly, I start getting fucked in the face with the lights.
I forgot about the lights that night. Yeah,
and it was half a song, maybe one track, maybe 1.5 tracks in. I start looking around, and there's this dude closer to the back towards the soundstage who was just standing there, and I kept looking at his face because the lights were just below his face or just above his head. And I was like, okay, we're roughly the same height. We get back there, he's a little taller than me, because even when we get back to him, because I end up moving because I want to get away from these fucking lights, and I'm still getting hit in the face with the lights. I'm like, fucking bullshit. And we ended up just hanging out there. The lights sort of settled down as the show went on. But we sort of just hung out in the back. The crowd had thinned out quite a bit.
It did. Like after Buried Tomorrow, I felt like people left.
In between, it seemed like a lot of people were there for Buried Tomorrow. Yeah. Like Vended didn't seem like they had that big of a crowd. Buried Tomorrow had a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
And then While She Sleeps had more than Vended, but less than Buried Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which, if I could rearrange this, to me it would be Buried Tomorrow, Vended, While She Sleeps.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like if we got more Vended and more Buried Tomorrow, I mean I enjoyed the show 100%, but I would change the change it around as well.
But like, I'm not trying to like shit on While She Sleeps at all. I remember enjoying the music.
I do too, yeah.
I've listened to it now on our playlist. We had this stuff on our playlist. I enjoy it on there as well. But it was more of those sort of passive experiences. I wasn't necessarily paying attention to the music. I was paying attention to the music, but at the same time, I wasn't. Like, I was just sort of there experiencing the experience, I guess.
I would agree with that. And I feel like
it's a weird way to say that.
I get what you're saying. Because I think I was in the same boat where I was just like kind of standing there, like listening to it, like we're at live music.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's where
I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I think that's where my new mindset is going, where like before, if I wasn't into the music, I would just be like, fuck this, we're leaving sort of thing. And now it's more like, we're at a live show. It's fun.
And it wasn't even like bad music, like I said. I enjoyed the music. Nothing resonated with me.
Yeah.
Nothing like hit like, oh my God, that's amazing.
I haven't been to a bad music show in a long time, at least in my mind.
From a music perspective, no.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I've
been to a few bad shows because of like venue and whatnot.
Oh yeah, but not like bad music shows.
Yeah.
So what I was gonna say is that my mindset, like I was saying, like my mindset's just changed where it's like I'm at live music. I'm here. I'm out like listening to this. It's not music I'm totally into, where like in my mind, if While She Sleeps comes back to Chicago, depending on who's with them, I'm not going to be like, I'm going to go buy tickets to this unless somebody else is with them that I want to see. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, it definitely makes sense. I'm in the same way. I would definitely like to see them again. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
they put on a good performance.
Yeah. It's just not going to be like, I'm buying tickets because While She Sleeps.
Exactly. I mean, we didn't buy tickets for this because...
No, yeah.
But no, I definitely agree with you for sure.
And I do have to say, I mean, it has been 11 days now since we saw this show. But I can't even really picture the band on the stage. And that's really horrible.
Oh, I can.
Okay, that's good.
The guitarist for Architects was there. They called that out.
Oh, right.
Because their guitarist, Dan... We're going to look up this name, too.
Yeah, so he had a baby, right? Well, he didn't, but...
Yeah, he's now a father.
His partner had a baby, so he's at home in England.
All right, our camera died out there.
Yeah.
We don't remember what we're saying. Matt was at home with his family.
Yes.
They just had a new addition. New child was born.
They just stole it off the street, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be fun, I guess.
But anyways, yes. So a guitarist from Architects.
I can't remember who was there.
Yeah.
There was. I can't remember. They said their name and I can't remember.
I don't know if he's a guitarist for Architects or he's just in Architects.
I assume guitarist.
Well, yeah, but I mean, people do other things.
They do.
I know it wasn't the vocalist from Architects because I
Yeah.
remember his face from M72 last year. So, but anyways, we apologize for not catching
another
that.
English band as well.
Yes.
So that was really cool. But I remember that. I remember the lights getting fucked up and
the guy had to come.
because we were sitting right next to the stage.
Yeah, I remember that.
And not that he like ran into me, but he's like, "Can you please move out of the fucking way?" Basically, and then goes running up there and comes running back, and I do want like a sidestep, and he's like gets up there, he's like, "Oh, thanks for paying attention." And then another guy was talking to him and running up there. Another tech was running up there fixing the lights and whatnot. So I remember that. But otherwise, like I remember again enjoying the music. I thought it was good music. I wasn't in the crowd.
Yeah,
so
I think
I wasn't having that vibe.
Yeah, I think that changes the aspect of shows.
Yeah, and I left the crowd because of the fucking lights again. Like I'm to the point now with like those shitty fucking lights that blast into the crowd that I'm like, if I'm fucked with them, I'm like, whatever, I'm done. I don't give a shit. I'm going to go to the back. I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm going to do what I can to get away from these lights. I fucking hate the lights with a passion. And again, it's the bright white lights from the back of the stage into the crowd, like into the faces of the crowd members. I understand what they're doing. I understand the effect they're trying to get. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's good. I hate it, so I try to avoid it. I peace out. Like, fuck it, I'm done. If it's not the bright white light, if it's like a softer light, I'm fine with it. It works out fine. It doesn't affect me as much, but whatever. That's just me, who I am as a person. I'll go somewhere else and enjoy the music and whatnot.
Brian's an old man.
Sure.
And complains about lights.
I
agree. Sometimes they are really, really bad. I didn't have a problem this night, but I am shorter than you, so I don't think it always hits me the same way, but...
like I said, we went back to that guy who I thought we were the same height. But when I got back to him, I was like, oh, I'm actually a little shorter than you. So I'm getting hit in the face again. These fucking lights. All in all, though, a great fucking time. I had so much fun.
Yeah.
Buried Tomorrow really stole the show for me. The Vended show was a Vended show.
Yeah.
And then While She Sleeps, it was good. It didn't stand out to me, but it was a good time, if that makes sense.
I would agree with all of those statements. I can't wait to see Barry Tomorrow again.
For sure. Yeah.
That is a band, like where I was just saying before the camera died, that I would probably not go see like While She Sleeps unless somebody else is on the bill that I absolutely want to see.
Or if you had nothing else going on.
Or if I had nothing else,
We're in the mood.
Yeah. But otherwise, Barry Tomorrow would definitely be one on the list where I'm like, I'm ready to, like when they announced that they're coming back to Chicago, I definitely go see them. So
for sure. And they've been here before. They mentioned Wage War.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Because we were looking that up on the way to the train of like.
But it was like when the fuck was that? Early 2020 before everything shut down or something like that. Yeah. Because in my mind, because they were like, oh, we were just here with Wage War, and in my mind, I'm like, no, you weren't, because I would be at the show because I go to every Wage War show that comes to Chicago. And then when we looked it up, I was like, oh, it was like 6 years ago.
Yep.
But I guess that could be we were just here. So
I mean, depending on how long they've been touring and whatnot.
But that would be really awesome to see them at Wage War, because they said that only like 50 people were there.
I do remember they were like, who was there? It's like, no, you weren't. Nobody was fucking at that show. Which will be fun then when we go to see them again. They're like, who was at the bottom lounge? So like, bullshit. Nobody was there.
Yeah. But
we were. We were there. It was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Not a bad ticket price either. Like
no. We've actually been seeing some really good shows that are like around the $20-$30 mark.
I'm really shocked at because it's like 4 or 5 back to back to back.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, we only paid that much? Are you shitting me? It was only that much?
Yeah.
I think the main one that stood out was the Whitechapel.
Yeah, only $29 for 4 bands.
Yeah, like $29. I was like, and that wasn't the BOGO deal we found out. Like, no, that was just like straight up $29 for that show. I was like, holy fuck.
I mean, fuck House of Blues, but it was a good price.
In any case, though, we stuck around for all the bands, found some really good new music, had a great time, and
I think it's a lesson to stick around for the bands.
For sure.
We've been to a lot of shows lately where people are leaving after the band that they want to see.
For sure, but more than that, just go to live music. Go check out live music and experience it. You'll have a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll catch you at the next show.
Yep. Bye.